Hey there, everybody. Looks like it is straight up 6 o'clock according to my phone. Looks James Bergeron, how are you doing? Andy B, how are you? Let's see who else we got on videos by Al. How are you doing? Actually, no delay today. I am going to get back to my regular scheduled live streams where I'm doing them every other Sunday at 6 p.m. Central. Uh, Fortunately, we didn't get much snow here. I think maybe 2 inches, but it's cold. It's really cold. I think the temperature right now is, well, I'll just check. I say it's really cold. It's probably a whole lot worse up north, but currently 7 degrees and the real field temperature is -6. J80, how are you doing? James Bergeron says doing good, dealing with sore finger after smashing with the wrench here, so that's no good. Jason Heltzley, how are you doing, Jason? So wow, what a crazy past few weeks. That's all I got to say. One with being sick, and I've still got a little bit of it hanging on. Still a little bit stuffy, but I'm a lot better than I was. And then Tuesday, get the phone call that my wife was in a car accident. So that was no fun. That is not a phone call that I care to ever get again. But she's doing good. She's, still pretty sore. Yeah, Jason Helsley says he's doing pretty good. Sounds like I'm doing better. I am doing much better. J80 says, "How's your wife?" Andy B says, "How's Mrs. Top Crane doing?" She's doing good. She's still sore. Her left arm, almost her entire left arm, is yellow now from the bruising. Basically, from this part of her hand up the outside part of her forearm, and then around to the inside of her bicep up to her collarbone is pretty much yellow. So videos by Al. She is at home. She was treated and released at the hospital. She was transported by ambulance after the accident, mainly because of the complaint of neck and back pain. So we got to spend, I don't know, I think we were at the hospital about 5 or so hours. Andy B, I don't know if it is totaled yet or not. I haven't heard from the insurance company. I would assume it's going to be because it popped 8 of the 10 airbags. I posted that one picture. Let me see if I got another picture of it. It took a pretty nasty shot. So if we can get that to focus, that's the driver's side front corner, or where it used to be. Pretty strong wheel studs, though. If you look, the whole wheel's missing except for the center. G4 Outdoors. Start over. How's the honey doing? She's doing good, Randy. She's upstairs. She's doing good. She's still sore, but she's doing okay. John Warren, how are you doing? From the cold tundra of Iowa. J80 insurance companies take forever unless they're billing you. I got my insurance company involved because this is crazy, and this is going to seem crazy to everybody that hears this. The girl that ran into my wife hadn't even filed a claim yet the next day. So I got my insurance company involved. Hopefully it goes pretty fast. Teresa B, how are you doing? Barry Hansen, how are you doing, Barry? The weather is cold. Wayne Tharp, the other driver, refused treatment at the scene. And actually, there was a third vehicle involved. So the one car crossed the center line, hit my wife in the driver's side corner. And actually, that car was trying to turn into a gas station, said they didn't even see my wife's car. Obviously, didn't see it because they caved in the whole driver's side corner. But then when both of those vehicles had come to a stop, a Ford Escape ran into them. So there were 3 vehicles involved. Scruffy61, how are you doing? John Dirt is just in St. Louis for a wedding. Had to drive back to Pennsylvania to stay in front of the storm. That'd be a pretty good haul to Pennsylvania from St. Louis. Yeah, J80 says he had to involve his insurance company because of strange circumstances. So the person that caused the whole accident hadn't even filed a claim yet the next day. And so I got my agent on it, and we did some research. And that person, the person that caused the accident, their insurance is through the general. So it's absolute state minimums. So I would have had to get my insurance involved anyway. The coverage that she had wasn't, that the other person had, wasn't even enough to cover the airbags in my wife's car. So there's that. John Dirt, 9.5 hours. That's a haul. Shrisha B, take lots of photos. We have a lot of photos. Art Mildfelt, how are you doing, bud? I actually work with Art. He's a good friend of mine. Strange circumstances such as no insurance. That's a fact. At least this person did have insurance, but there's not much of it. So, with all of that being said, and with me getting past being sick, I'm going to hit the rewind button on the old channel a little bit and back up to my roots and try to get at least 1 or 2 videos a week out and get back to kind of the format that I was doing before. See, sure should be many phones have GPS and look to location too. Art says, good, bub, and you? I'm doing good. I worked on a hammer some this weekend, so we're getting a little further on that. I'll show you guys some pictures of that as well. James Bergeron says, I'm glad she's okay. That was scary. Me too. And I appreciate everybody chiming in on that post I put in the community tab. I read all of your comments to my wife, so that made her feel pretty good, and I appreciate you guys thinking of her. J80 said, got T-boned by an undercover detective, state self-insurance deal. These are people that ask you for proof of insurance. Wow. Videos by all. That is why you buy underinsured insurance. Wayne Tharp, in a new hat. New begins and a fresh start. I've had this hat for a while, but Wayne actually noticed that I wasn't wearing the Logger Wade hat. John Warren says the law should out them cut rate insurance companies. That's a fact. Now, I carry a lot of insurance. And insurance to me is one of those things, either pay for it and have it or pay for it and don't. So I'm actually probably a little bit overinsured, but in situations like this, I'm glad I am. But anyway, back to what I was saying. I'm going to try to get back to posting once or twice a week, every week, whether it's a crane video or repair video, whatever. I'm going to try to get something up there every week. Now, with that being said, we will have a video on this channel this week, and we should have a video on the Thor's Hammer channel this week. It's not, I mean, I haven't dropped it on anything because it's not done yet, but with the 2 weeks of setbacks, I'm obviously 2 weeks behind on the old hammer project. But I do have some footage of working on the hammer, so I will try to get that edited into a video and get that on the Thor's Hammer channel. While we're on the subject of the hammer, I'll show you guys what it looks like right now, or pretty close to what it looks like right now. No critique in my welding. Remember, I'm no welder. But that's with one end and the sides polished off. So with the other end almost welded up, ready to polish. I've got a better picture. Let me find the better picture. There, that's probably a little bit better picture other than the glare. So the bottom is almost done. Once I get the bottom done, the rest should go quite a bit faster. Jason Hilsey asked, any interesting pics lately or coming up? I do have a little bit of footage. We went into that building the other day with our 2 big cranes and made a pick inside of a building with a 38-foot ceiling. So it's a tandem pick, both booms completely retracted. everything had to be measured out extremely precisely. And so yeah, I've got a little bit of footage that I couldn't make a full-on video of that job because the machine we're picking is very proprietary. So the company didn't want us taking a whole lot of video in there. So I got a little bit of video of the crane setup and the piece that's up in the air, all of that good stuff. So Wayne Tharp says, post a couple pics later so we can see better, please, and thank you. I hate to put too many Thor's Hammer pictures on my To the Top Crane channel, but I don't have a community tab yet on the Thor's Hammer channel because I don't have enough subscribers. If any of you guys want updates on the hammer, go to Instagram and find me on Instagram, and I'll post pictures of it on Instagram, on To the Top Crane on Instagram. I may sneak a picture in on the community tab on here. That way you guys can see it. John Dirt, a grinder and paint, make a welder. He ain't. Actually, I'm not a bad welder when I'm sticking stuff together with 7018. Let me see if I can find a picture of some welds so you guys can critique me. That right there is a whole lot of welding. John Warren says, as far as I'm concerned, you can never be overinsured. He carries a $2 million umbrella with $1 million general. That ain't bad. That's a lot of coverage. Alex Williamson's Blind Adventures. How are you doing? I've also got some pictures. I'll just give you guys a sneak peek of that video from inside that building. So, focus. That was inside that facility, setting that piece. J80 says, nothing wrong with those welds, not bad welds at all. Josh Weller, how many hours welding so far? So far I've burned 20 pounds of welding rod. I don't know how much time, but it's a lot. Alex Williamson's Blind Adventures. The wife is doing well. She's sore, still bruised up, but sore. She's doing all right. There should be Point Mirande. Oh, Mirande Bridge there, cable jacking the decks down to the ground. Must be rebuilding the bridge. I'm trying to think what else I got coming up. I don't know what we've got coming up. It's been kind of hit or miss with the big crane stuff. Michael Newcomb, stop teasing us, man. I will have. I'll do that video when we did that 2 crane pick inside the building. I'll have that up by Wednesday, and it's going to be a short one. Like I said, I don't have a whole lot of footage. What I'll probably do is throw the video in, and I've got a bunch of pictures. Some of them are kind of blurry, but I'll put them in anyway. And I'll do the video. It's about a minute and a half long, and then do a little slideshow at the end of it. Wayne Tharp, hopefully spring is coming up soon. That is no doubt. I am so sick of winter. James Bergeron says he's been seeing a lot of cranes lately when he's been out. That's seeing a lot of cranes is a good sign for construction. J80, well, some interesting stuff this week. I'd love to show you some pics. J80, are you on Instagram? William Jacobs, I see nothing wrong with the weld. You'll get better with time behind the stick welding. I used to do a bunch of stick welding when I was a field mechanic. Jason Heltzley, 1,500 pounds of steel and 150 pounds of welding filament. That's about what it's going to be. Barry Hansen, you're taking off Wade with his secret project. I know what Wade's secret project is. I've seen pictures of it. I don't think he's announced it to the world yet. J80 said this is only social media. No Facebook, no Instagram. GoPro guy asked if I've ever helped with the recovery of a car. I have not yet. We almost had to help with the recovery of a 90-ton crane that went off in a ditch, but they ended up getting someone else on it. J80, do you have email? You obviously have email. You've got a YouTube account. You can email them to me. Jason Heltzley hasn't revealed it, but is talking about it, about using it on his current job. Barry Hansen said he saw it on a video he posted, then took it down. Yeah, he probably wasn't supposed to let the cat out of the bag yet. I will tell you guys, Wade's got some stuff coming up that you don't want to miss. And I can't tell you what it is, but he's got some stuff coming up you guys don't want to miss. Alex Williams' Blind Adventure says, thought might find this interesting. Actually, I had dreamed about meeting you last night. Hey, if you ever make it to Missouri, Alex, we'll make that happen. Wayne Tharp Wade had to edit and repost that video. Yeah, he's got to keep it secret for a little while longer, Wayne. So I don't know what else we've got coming up. GoPro guy, who's Wade? Logger Wade. If you find Logger Wade on YouTube, that's who we're talking about. He's a crazy logger with a heart of gold. Fantastic guy, and he's a riot. He's funny. But I don't know what we've got coming up for crane work. I know when I got the phone call about my wife's accident, I had our crane set up at our yard, and I was moving counterweights around. We're touching up some rusty spots on the crane. I'm repainting all the counterweights for the crane. And then tomorrow, I've got to finish painting a few counterweights, and I'm going to paint all the wheels. Probably repaint the boom dolly. So just getting it shined back up, make it pretty for the next busy season. James Berger on my favorite Logger Wade videos when Stevie dropped a tree on the din-din. I remember that one. That was pretty funny. I thought Wade was going to come unhinged on him for that. As far as the Thor's Hammer channel, I haven't checked it recently. I don't know. Shriek B, have fun, back to work. Thanks for stopping in. Andy B, how old is that crane? The Tadano that I operate, the 180, is a 2013. Let me check the old Thor's Hammer channel, see where we're at. On To the Top Crane, we're 21 subscribers from 5,000, and that blows my mind. I never would have guessed we would be sitting at almost 5,000 subscribers in just over a year. So I appreciate everybody for that. That's astounding. Let's see. Let's switch accounts and see what we got on Thor's Hammer. Thor's Hammer, we've got 166 subscribers on there. So I would imagine once I get some videos made of when we start dropping that thing, that channel's probably going to go pretty quick or grow pretty fast. GoPro guy is a new crane in the feature. Or G4 Outdoors says 5K. I'm not at 5K yet. I got 21 to go. I'm guessing GoPro guy said, is there a new crane in the future is what he meant. And no. Josh Wellner, crane workers pull my kids' teeth out because they won't. Plemons Lawn Care, how are you doing, Plemons? Finally made it to a live stream. Plemons Lawn Care says, what's up, G Money to G4? But yeah, you guys make this channel what it is, and I appreciate it. Michael Newcomb says, keep putting out good videos, and this time next year you'll be at 20,000. Here's the thing. If I can keep from getting sick and all the other stuff, I should be able to put out some videos. Jose, I'm not sure how to pronounce your last name, so we're just going to go with Jose. Says, I'm 21, got my NCCCO recently. Any good advice? My advice to any new crane operator is take your time. Don't try to move too fast. Don't try to advance too fast. Work your way in to stuff so you don't get in over your head. Von Heel's asking, the 180 to be operated without that riggers for the purpose of maintenance, etc. Yes and no. The upper can be started, but you can't boom it up out of the rack or boom it up off the dolly without outriggers. There's no on rubber chart for it. The only charts it has are mid-span outrigger chart and full span outrigger chart. And I honestly wouldn't want to boom that thing up without the outriggers. That would be a pretty scary deal to put that thing dirty side up. But, you can start it. That's pretty much it. No swinging, no booming up, none of that without outriggers. And it would be scary to put it dirty side up, but I would also hate to call my boss and say, hey, I just turned over your $1 million crane because I was too lazy to put the outriggers out. That'd be a bad deal. And actually, like Smedco just said, the outrigger monitoring system prevents it. So it's got sensors on each outrigger beam, and it knows the position of the outriggers. That can be overridden, but a person wouldn't really want to do that. Michael Newcomb, dirty side up. Now that's a video. That's a video that would probably go viral, but it would be my last YouTube video. Andy B, that would get more subs. Ryan Chapman says, hello from England. Well, hello from Missouri. Josh Wellner says, the boom must weigh quite a bit. The 5 intersections of boom, not including the stationary section that the boom cylinder hooked to, but the 5 intersections of boom are a little over 40,000 pounds. Jason Heltzley just saw Jay Peters post on Instagram. Do you think he sold the Challenger or saying goodbye to it being in the shop? I don't know. I commented on that, but I hope he didn't sell it. Jose, boom deflection. Will your boom snap if overloaded, or will it prevent you from booming up? It can do either. It just depends on the crane. It's not uncommon for people to, when they overload those newer cranes, for them to break the boom off. So know that if you're sitting in the seat of a rig, it may break the boom before you ever start getting your crane light or before it stops you. Jimmy's Tractor, hello, Jimmy's Tractor. Richard Savalio, how are you doing, Rich? Barry Hansen says, I'd say it's going out of the shop. I'm guessing that's the thing. I'm guessing too, Barry. Von Heel says, I just asked because I saw a crane spun around backwards as a boom pulled apart into several pieces on the ground, but the outriggers were stowed. Seemed odd to me. Did they have them just completely retracted and straight down? Because I've seen some companies do that. And some cranes, they actually have a chart for outriggers completely retracted, but the jacks ran straight down, which is entirely possible. I've operated some cranes that had just a straight down outrigger chart. Alfred Martinez, what's up from San Diego? Your videos have helped me a lot. Well, that's good to hear. I'm glad I can help. If there's something in particular that you want to see, let me know. I'll try to get it in a video. And that's I've said it a few times though. It's got to be stuff that I can incorporate into our day. I can't just go set up the crane to make just to make a video. Jose says, see your videos a lot. I've gotten seat time, but I've never set up an LMI. It's hard to set up LMI on a crane, or all LMI different. Jose, based on the questions that you're asking and the fact that you have your crane certs already, you need to be very careful when you venture out into the world of cranes, because it sounds like, and it's no disrespect, but it sounds like you don't have a whole lot of experience yet. So you probably need to follow around an operator that's got a lot of experience for a little while. And whatever crane you're getting ready to operate, read the manual. I can't stress that enough to people. Even though they've got crane certification, they'll jump into a crane and just start pushing buttons. Step one on any new machine is read the book, because there's stuff in that book that you will never learn in the classes to get your crane certification, because machines are proprietary. Their functions are a little bit different. Sometimes, I mean, they all do basically the same thing, but sometimes the way of getting to that point is different. So most all LMIs are different. And when you setting up your LMI is critical to safe operation of the crane. If you push one button wrong, you'll turn your crane over, because you'll tell it that it's got counterweight on it that it doesn't have, or you'll tell it that it's got outrigger span that it doesn't have. So setting up your LMI is critical. All right, let's get caught back up on comments here. Says Von Hills looked like it was sitting on its tires, but I was driving by, so I suppose it had just outriggers holding it, but not actually pulling. If they were just doing maintenance, that may have been what they had done, is just run their outrigger straight down, swung it over the back to work on it. John Warren says, I'm going to say he's putting it into cold storage by his post before. Yep. So Jay Paydirt's probably just moving the old Challenger out. Smedco, some of the larger cranes can remove their own outriggers and load them on a trailer for transport. I have seen that. And that's, what is it, the 900 tons? Some of the 900 tons will do that. D. McDonald, how are you doing? I was allowed to record just a little bit, so I've got about 1 minute of footage and some pictures on that job inside. Jose says, I honestly don't, but thanks for the advice, and the advice works. Yeah, Jose, definitely take your time. Don't rush into, just because you've got your crane certs, don't run in there with your hair on fire and try to make things happen. That's how people get hurt. Daniel Thoreau, hi Jim, can you explain how the boom telescopes? I actually have a video. It's one of my first videos. I don't know if G4 is still on here or not. He's probably off doing something else, but maybe my third or fourth video on my channel, there it talks about how the boom telescopes. But I'll give you a quick rundown. There is a single telescope cylinder inside the boom, and it grabs the smallest section first, extends it out to whatever point you told the crane what configuration you needed. It runs it out to that point and pins it. And then that telescope cylinder retracts and grabs the next section, runs it out to a predetermined point, locks that section in place, comes back and grabs another section, and it works its way through to whatever boom mode you decided to put it in. Rich Savalio says we had a crane operator killed not that long ago on rough terrain. Was loading on a lowboy without the house locked, and it spun, knocking the rig off the deck. I've heard of it. That would be terrible. Those house locks are on there for a reason. Videos by Al, we have a crane rental place that will basically rent to anyone. Operator is responsible. Tyler's Repair says, hey, Jimmy, what's LMI mean? I'm assuming you mean what's LMI mean, and that is load moment indicator. And that is the computer that basically gives you all the information of the position the crane is in. And that's where you program how much counterweight you have on it, your outrigger span, all that good stuff. Von Heel says, can you explain how you would calculate the capacity load for a setup like you have behind you, where you have one hook on the end of the boom and one off the end of the jib? Okay. Thanks for posting that, Rambozo Clown. You are awesome. So there's a link to the video of how the boom telescopes. John69, how are you doing? Alfred Martinez. Hey, Jimmy, what kind of merch do you have? Would like to purchase some. All I've got is shirts on Teespring. If you go on teespring.com, you can find them. Lucy Jones says, hello. Hello, Lucy Jones. Okay, back to Von Hill's question about how you calculate capacity for load with a setup. Let me just grab this thing. You're not going to be able to see the whole crane in the video. Let's get a little closer since we're going to talk about it. Come on, get in the picture here. Quit swinging. Okay, so if you have a crane configured like this, you can see I have the pill on the end of the jib, and then I've got the main hanging on the tip of the boom. If you are making a pick off of the jib, then all you have to calculate for your deduction is the weight of this block. So whatever you're using for the pick doesn't come into account on your reduction from gross to net, with exception of the weight of your rigging, which would be this ball and this block would come into account. Now, if you have the boom configured like this with your jib installed and you're making a pick off of the main boom, on your D notes in the load charts, there will be a deduction for this jib. And then also you have to deduct the weight of this pill. So anything that you're not using for the pick is a deduction from your gross capacity to find your net capacity. So hopefully that makes sense. So I'll go back over that real quick. If you're using the main, you go into your load chart, there'll be a D note that tells you how much you have to deduct from your gross capacity for this jib being installed. And then you have to deduct the weight of this ball. If you're making a pick off of the jib, then you only deduct this, and then whatever rigging you're using. So I hope that makes sense. Don't know any other way to really explain that. And we do configure like this occasionally, especially setting really long panels or something that you have to pick them and stand them up. Or a lot of times on a job site where the cranes aren't moving around a lot, they will have them rigged like this so they can have the extra reach for their lighter picks, but they still have the main for their heavier up close stuff. So occasionally you'll see them rigged like that and you have to make picks off one or the other, or sometimes both at the same time. Let's see if that'll just stand up right there without falling over. We might have a crane accident in the old crane cave. It's wobbling. I think it's good. Let's see. John Ward says, when talking about a new machine, I always read the book first. When I got a new combine 3 years ago, went to class for it. What a difference 5 years makes in the same class yet. That gets a lot of people in trouble when they just jump into a machine. They don't even look at the book. And some people think, well, a crane is a crane is a crane. Sure, they all pick stuff up, but getting them to that point is way different from manufacturer to manufacturer. And sometimes it's just different from machine to machine. So, for example, our ATF 80-4 and our ATF 180-5, completely different computer systems, completely different boom modes. Setup configurations are completely different. And they're both manufactured by Tadano. They're the same manufacturer, but two completely different cranes. James Burns says, always read the books on something new. It's there's a lot of pretty important information in those books. And for example, There's the books for the 180G. That's all the information to operate that crane from the manufacturer. This one is for the upper portion, for just the crane portion. And then this one is for the lower. That's just the carrier, the portion that drives down the road. Before I was able to get in that crane, I had to read those books. Jason Heltzley said, given the tire size on both the Tadanos, are the rims one-piece rim or a two-piece? They are a two-piece Widowmaker. They got a locking ring. They're split rim. Michael Newcomb, thanks for the explanation for us crane dummies. There's no such thing really as a crane dummy. There's just people that don't know as much about it. Triple X is swinging load is a death sentence for a crane, but yet back in the day, the cranes would use swinging wrecking balls to do demolition on buildings. Lattice boom cranes are a completely different animal than hydraulic cranes, like telescopic boom cranes, like what I operate. The thing with lattice boom cranes, and you shouldn't side load any crane, but lattice booms are significantly lighter. Like when they're swinging, they have a lot less inertia built into their boom because their boom sections are significantly lighter based on the strength or compared to the strength. And then the older cranes also, their motto back then was when in doubt, build them stout. So those older machines were built like tanks compared to what we've got now. Not saying that the newer machines aren't great machines. They're stout and they will do a lot of work. But with the advent of computers and CAD, they have gotten it down to where they can put less material in the machines and do the same amount of work. Smedco Lieber's books read like stereo instructions run through the Google Translate 4 or 5 times. ADB split rims will get you hurt fast. That's a fact. Rich Sautaleo Lieber books suck. The Tadano books, there's nothing exciting as far as reading the Tadano books either. I mean, it's tough to stay awake reading all that. And really, what the information you get in the books, until you are standing next to the machine and applying it, a lot of that stuff really wouldn't make sense to a lot of people. Now, if you turn to the page of or turn to the section where you're installing the jib and you're reading through it and you're like, wow, this is kind of, I don't know, it just seems kind of backwards. But then when you start installing the jib, it all starts making sense. So like for example, on the 180, it has a hydraulic luffing jib. So with the hydraulic luffing jib, if you have the upper portion or the crane up or crane running, the engine running, you have to disconnect the hydraulic hoses in a certain order. Otherwise, the jib can drop itself. Well, I was told by a Tadano engineer the way to circumvent that is just shut the engine off, and then you can disconnect them in either order. It doesn't matter. But in the books, there is a huge warning label that says caution undo hoses in such and such sequence to avoid death or serious injury. Well, they should just put in the book, hey, dummy, shut the engine off and it doesn't matter. Von Heels asked if I'm the only operator at the company that can operate all the cranes. I'm the only one there that operates our 200-ton. The other guys could probably get through it, especially with the books in there. One of our other operators had played in it some here and there, but he pretty much stays in the ATF 80. So yeah, I guess I am the only one there that can be set down on a job and operate all the cranes that we own. John Warren, only 2-piece. I would buy 3-piece rims. I actually wanted to take the wheels and have them chromed, but our owner didn't think that would be a good investment. But I thought that crane would look pretty cool with 10 25-inch chrome wheels on it. James Bergeron, sometimes when I read a book on something, I'll read it multiple times. I read through these, front to back, and then I also reference them from time to time. If we're doing something that we don't do a lot, then I will go to the books for reference. 51 people watching. That's pretty good turnout for a Sunday evening. I ought to do this more often, huh? Back to my old schedule, we are. James Bergeron said that would look cool if the rims were chrome. There's actually a company that makes chrome paint now that is very convincing. You spray a black base and then the chrome over the top of it, and it pretty well looks like they were dipped, but even that paint's expensive. I don't know. We'll see if I can make it happen one of these days. Okay, Cole, hello there. So hopefully I haven't missed anybody's comments so far. I'm trying to keep up with them. Oh, also, I don't know what I got coming up for crane work, but I am going to wheel underneath the old Tadano probably this week just to inspect everything, all the drivetrain, U-joints, all of that good stuff. So I'll throw the old camera on the creeper with me when I go underneath it. My name's Jeff 61. That's a mouthful there. I don't know what NRO is, but Smedco, guessing the Alcoa one-piece whims are right out there. Oh yes, I'm assuming that is not going to happen. Kay Cole says, I like your hat. Thank you. That was actually sent to me by Tadano. Rails 99, the chrome wheels and ad spinners. Michael Newcomb says, I mentioned the Tadano engineer. Do I have much contact with Tadano? I do. I mean, not only do I operate our cranes, but I repair them. So, I contact their parts department fairly regularly. We order all of our filters from Tadano. Any repair parts come from Tadano. If we got to rebuild a cylinder, the packing comes from Tadano. And I know I could order that stuff from a different supplier. However, if I order from a different supplier and something happens, then it's on us for the liability. So let's see. Sandy says, how are we all doing tonight, ladies and gents? How are you doing, Sandy? K. Cole, I subscribed. Well, thanks for that. Andy B, I noticed the huge carrier bearing in the driveline. There is a lot of driveline under that crane. So there's 5 axles, 4 of them are driven. Barry Hansen, amazes me how many YouTubers been doing unboxings don't read the instruction for assembly before starting. Michael Green, how you doing, Michael Green? And someone that was asking about the Tadano engineer, do I have much contact with Tadano? Michael Green is a Tadano mechanic. He was actually helping me. Well, no, let's rephrase that. I was helping him in the video where we were pulling the boom out of our 80-4. So there's your answer on do I have much contact with Tadano engineers? I talk to someone from Tadano at least once a week, whether that's for me asking a stupid question or asking a legitimate question. I'm friends with one of them on Facebook, and I sent him a question about some stupid cast-in spot on one of the counterweights that didn't make any sense, and then he sent me a response that it was from the manufacturing process, had nothing to do with the crane. So let's see. Josh Wellner, how many days a month are you in the crane picking things up? That varies. In the summertime, I mean, it can be out every single day. So Rich Savlio, Mark had to take my thumbs up and give a thumb. Why'd you have to give me a thumbs down, Rich? That wasn't very nice. Dalton Feeks, how many steering axles? All 5 axles steer. Michael Green, there's no such thing as a stupid question. That's exactly what I was told by that buddy of mine on old Facebook. Sandy says, been good, Jimmy, busy as heck, but can't complain, making money. Your wife okay after the wreck? My wife is doing good after the wreck. She's still sore and bruised up, but she's going to make a full recovery. She's tough. She'd have to be tough to be married to me for, it's going to be 20 years this year. So she's pretty tough. Vonnie Hills said, my former boss used to say he never wanted to own any machine that he couldn't work on himself. There's something to be said about that. Alex Williamson's Blind Adventure says, so is the creeper like a scooter board thingy? It is. It's basically a board with wheels on it so I can roll around. Andy B, you haven't had much breakdowns in the 200, have you? I have not. That 200 has been a very reliable crane. The only issue that we had with it was the airline that I replaced, and I made a video on it. But Tadano used a rubber-lined airline on the air system in the upper, and over time the rubber would degrade because of the heat. And I cut their fittings off and had a Teflon-lined stainless hose made to counteract that. It's been running strong ever since. Richard Savalio, Jimmy said thumbs down still count. YouTube doesn't differentiate between a thumbs up and a thumbs down. It's all audience interaction. So, I mean, YouTube doesn't care. Mark Mortensen, you're going to score points for remembering how many years it's been. 20 years is a long time for her to put up with me. I can promise. The trouble with me, I guess I say the trouble with me. I'm an almost 42-year-old big kid. So there's that. I'm just a responsible big kid. I've got toys like most other kids. They're just more expensive. Okay, Cole, tell your wife I said good luck. But back to Andy B's question as far as the breakdowns with the 200. Actually, we had a crane wreck. You guys didn't see it, but I heard it. I'll explain to you in a second. But our ATF 80-4 has been a rock star as well. We've had that thing for, I don't know, 12 years. And we had to pull the boom sections out of it to replace an O-ring. But other than that, that thing has been, and we rebuilt the counterweight cylinders, the cylinders that raise the counterweights up. Other than that, that thing's been a rock star. So the crane wreck we had, the crane that I had out for demonstration, I just set it on the floor, and evidently the carpet is soft enough that the outriggers sunk in the carpet and it fell over. So I guess I'll have to send it in for inspection. Kind of twisted up my main line too. So I have to sort through that. Let's just lean it up against the wall. Can't fall over when it's leaning against something. Rambozo clan need mats. This could have been my video, dirty side up. That's funny. Yeah, I definitely needed some crane mats if I'm going to set that thing on the carpet. Jason Heltzley said, what size Mercedes engine is in the Carrier and what engine's in the upper? The Carrier is, it's a Mercedes OM 502 LA. It is, I don't remember how many liter. I think a 16-liter V8. It's about 575 horse. And then the engine in the upper is a 4-cylinder turbo Mercedes. I don't remember the engine size, but I think it's 175 horse. Mr. Random, well, it did a good demonstration of ground stability. It did indeed. I wish you guys would have seen it. It was kind of comical. It laid itself out over here. Barry Simmons supposed to put down wood 1.5 times the size of the float. Come on now. Andy B, 5 gallons a mile. It gets about 1 mile per gallon. You want to see if we can make it turn over again? I'll just stand it up. Make sure the outriggers are out all the way. We'll see if we can get the tip of the boom in the video or in the frame. And we'll just let it hang out there and see what happens. I'm guessing it's going to turn over. It's already a little wobbly. Okay, cool. I'm not annoying. I'm annoying, aren't I? No, not at all. Dalton Feek sucks more diesel than you think. Yeah, you get that big crane on a hill pulling a long hill, and that thing burns fuel faster than they can refine it. Victor the Ripper said, "Can you explain again what hold your load is?" Okay, so if they want you to boom down and hold your load, what they're asking is they want you to boom down and cable up at the same time. And what that will do is keep the load a consistent height off the ground, but move it further from the crane. Or if they want you to boom up and hold your load, then you're booming up and cabling down, and it does the same thing. It keeps the load a consistent height off the ground, but it moves it closer to the crane. So that's what boom up or boom down and hold your load is. All you're doing the same thing as just booming down or booming up. You're just adding the winch to the mix to keep the load a consistent height off the ground. Is it still standing? Now that I've got it in view of the camera, it's not gonna go over. James Bergeron did a few weeks ago. Had a load hanging off my model crane. A few minutes later, heard something fall. Looked and the load pulled the crane off the shelf. I'm gonna be mad if this one breaks, though. It's still hanging in there. I don't have any crane mats for it. I should probably make some, but then I would need a truck to haul them. So there's that. Sandy, as much as that rig weighs, I'm kind of surprised it doesn't have an alternate style drive line like diesel electric. And actually, that 200-ton crane is on the smaller side of the medium-sized hydros. It used to be that the 200 was just enormous, but now that they've got 900-ton capacity hydros, 1,100-ton capacity hydros, that 200 is on the smaller side, like the smaller end of the medium-sized hydros. John Dirt, do you have cable out display like a tower? I do not. It doesn't tell me how many feet of rope I've got out on the cable. I do have a clicker on it that tells me how fast the winch is turning, but Andy B, I hope your HVAC didn't turn it over. James Burron says the company I used to deal with for diecast models sells crane mats for model cranes. I need to get some. Okay, cool. That crane. My cousin Freaky loves cranes. It seems that a lot of people really enjoy cranes. I mean, based on the success of this channel just in a year, I would say that a lot of people like cranes, unless it's just my spectacular personality, which I highly doubt. I've had some people tell me I should be more animated, but that's never going to happen. I am what I am, and I'm not going to change anything for anybody. And I actually, going down the road, that crane attracts some attention. I was driving to a job one day and looked over, and someone crashed right into the back end of someone else because they were rubbernecking, staring at the crane. Von Heels asked, would you ever telescope the load due to overhead room or some other consideration? I can telescope with a load with that crane. There's specific things that have to be done before. Like in order to, there's actually a set of charts for the crane for telescoping with a load. You have to have the section that you want to telescope has to be extended 1.5 feet. with the telescope cylinder pinned into it naturally. That's the only way you could get it extended 1.5 feet. And then you can telescope that out to within 1.5 feet of where it's going to pin next. So you can only live boom. That's what they call telescoping, with that one section. You can only live boom one section, and you can't live boom it for the entire length of the section. It's 1.5 feet off the bottom and within 1.5 feet of where it's going to pin at the other end. Barry Hansen, we can only put up with one Wade. I could never be as animated as Wade. You could find me at my most excited point in my life, and I still wouldn't be anywhere near what Wade is. I'm pretty much even keeled. This is me. Dalton Feeks, do you have to replace the turntable or gear like excavator over a period of time? If it starts getting wear in it, then yes, it would have to be replaced. As long as you take care of them, they will live a very long time. Crane turntables don't get the kind of shock load that excavator turntables sometimes get, when people are trying to slam into things with a bucket and whatnot. And with the auto luber keeping that thing greased, that turntable's full of grease all the time. So they will live a long time. James Bergeron, it's a bit of both for me. That's why I subscribed for your personality and for the crane. I always be a loyal subscriber since I've watched all the videos. I appreciate that, James. Okay, Cole, my cousin will literally die. I mean, not like dead, like gasping. Squish Life, hello there. Says, hi, sir, I'm new. Welcome to the channel. MSL Login, how are you doing, MSL? Says, house to the top. I'm doing good. I hope you're doing well down there. Mrs. To the Top Crane's doing well. She's sore, but she's going to make it. Figures. Still standing. Okay, Cole, can I donate? Donate. Hey, there's my dad. How you doing, Dad? Okay, Cole, what do you want to donate? Like, donate to me? I mean, I've got super chat enabled. I mean, if you want to, you can. You don't have to. Don't, please. If anybody ever wants to hit that super chat button, I'll never tell them no, but don't feel obligated to do so. I make these videos because I enjoy doing it, and hopefully people can, pick up some tips here and there, whatever. But MSL doing all right considering the rain. At least it's raining. It's not ice. Matt DJ01, how are you doing? Says, anything going on with the Link Belt 318 bought back in August 2018? It has not done anything. So I don't know how that one will. I don't know how that all's going to go. That was bought specifically for unloading barges on the river. Barge traffic is shut down in the wintertime, so there's that. So I would imagine it's going to get used at some point. Okay, Cole says, okay, I want to be nice. I mean, that's entirely up to you. If you want to donate money, then feel free. But like I said, don't feel obligated. JD, your even personality is perfect for the crane. As reckless and haphazardous as Wade, I would not let him near a crane. A person sitting in a crane seat does have to stay pretty grounded. You have to not be flustered easily. You have to have a lot of patience. You have to be able to perform with a clear head under pressure. And getting excited in a crane would be no way to be. Hammerhead, how are you doing, Hammerhead? Rainbows of Clown says, Weiss Brothers US has miniature rigging and crane mats for models. I need to get some. K. Cole said it won't let you. No worries. Larry Ford, we had some snow this morning. Did not stay till noon. How are you doing, Larry Ford? We've got some snow. It's going to be around, I think, till Wednesday. Von Heels, well, the summer will be here before you know it. Better hit the gym and get that brake leg warmed up. Jimmy's not getting in that 318 link belt. I'm going to avoid that crane like the plague. I don't want any part of it. Andy B asked if I live close to my parents. They're about 20 minutes away. So, yeah, we live pretty close by. I can't believe that little crane's still standing up. Falls when no one's watching, stays there when everybody's looking at it. I guess I could bump it, but Larry Ford says bad weather in Florida and Georgia tonight. Bad as in like tornadic weather, or just bad as in it's going to be 55 degrees and nobody in Florida is used to it? Someone beat me too, allowing James's comment. Okay, Cole says in Louisiana right now, Jason Hensley, tornadoes are no good. Our tornado season will be coming up here before long. Oh, that's bad news. Hammerhead said tornado claimed 2 lives in Auburn, Alabama today. That's terrible. We've all seen crane fails where they buckle up or tip over. Can a crane be repaired after that? Would you operate a crane that has been toppled then repaired? It depends on the extent of damage. They can be repaired. After a crane accident, they have to be completely re-inspected. I would operate a crane that has been repaired as long as all the documentation is there, and it's been signed off by a licensed inspection entity. JDS, what wind speed does it take to shut you down? It just depends on the boom configuration. If I've got the jib installed, it's 15.9 miles or 15.6 miles an hour is what it is with the jib on. If I'm running main boom, my load chart is split up. 25 to 27 miles an hour is a 30% reduction. 27 to 34 is a reduction down to 30%. And then anything past 34% is shut the crane off. So K. Cole must be watching some of my videos. I think I've got 150 of them so far. And I don't know how many live streams I've done, but I've done several. I really enjoy the live streams because it allows me to interact with you guys in real time versus making a video. And then, I like making the videos too, but when I make the video and you guys have questions, then it's all slammed into comments, and it takes a long time to keep up with all those comments. Yep, still standing. I'm going to put this back over here before it falls and gets broken. I'll probably knock it off of there. There. James Bergeron says he really enjoys the live streams. Hammerhead says, which video of yours has went viral? I have no videos that have gone viral. My most watched video, believe it or not, is when we installed the jib on the crane, and got a pretty much start to finish video on it, and I think it's got 22,000 views. Von Heel says you have said in the past you would take the crane home if you felt the customer was asking you to do something unsafe. Has that ever happened? It has not. I have not had to pull the crane off a job. Typically, when if a customer is asking me to do something that's unsafe, we have a discussion about it. And it's very professional. I'm not going to jump out of the crane and yell at them and say, "Hey, stupid, this is not what we're going to do." I've had to have a few discussions before on a job site, and at one point it was very direct. I still was never unprofessional. Now, there's a difference between being direct and being a jerk, and I try not to cross over that point. Now, that's not to say that I can't be a jerk if need be. I guess I have on some cases, but most of the time, 99.99% of the time, I'm very, very professional with it. And the first discussion is hey, this is why we can't do this. Explain to them what's going on. And then if they keep pushing the issue, the next discussion is a very direct discussion. And it typically never gets past that. It never has to escalate. Rambozo Clown 6-hour live stream. I'm not doing another 6-hour live stream. James Berger on my video that went mini viral is still doing really well, and I looked at it last night, 775 views. That's good. D. McDonald, the gym video is really good. Something I've always wanted to understand better. Watched it a couple times. Well, thanks for that. My dad says you came close on a 100,000-pound fertilizer tank they wanted you to pick without reconfiguring the block. Yeah, that was a 103,000-pound tank, and I was good for 96,000 with my small block. I had to switch to my big block, and the customer wasn't happy about it, but it is what it is. My job is to pick their stuff up safely, and I'll configure the crane however it needs to be configured to do that. Andy B, that jib video was the cell tower. That's because I've watched it several times. That was my other jib video. The one where I only had 43 feet of jib on it. We were set up, getting ready to do our night work. That video I put out right around Thanksgiving, and that one has done really well. That pro god, hello there. Yeah, as far as viral videos, I don't have any that have gone actual viral. Mike Manfred, how are you doing? Tell Charles I said hello. Sandy said watching the jib setup video is interesting. I sort of expect it to be a relatively automated process. It is all hands-on. Andy B, okay. Okay, Cole. Okay, Cole, I am not doing gymnastics. You are on the wrong channel if you want gymnastics. I really thought that video, the first time I released that video of the crane dance, the one that I put like circus music to it, I had to take it down for a little while because I was getting some crazy emails from people asking a lot of information. And then I put it back up, and I really thought that one was going to be a viral video. I figured that would be a 1 million view video. And that's not to say that it wouldn't or can't take off and get to that point. What it would take for that to happen is all of you guys would have to go find that video and share it. If everybody shared that video, it would probably go viral. And that video is back up, if anybody's wondering. I took it down initially because, like I said, I was getting emails from people I had no idea about. And I thought someone was going to maybe start doing some investigating and someone could get in trouble. And then I did some more research on it. I'm like, hey, there isn't anything anybody can do. So I put it back up. So now it's out there. Let's see. Gaming Kid 637, keep it family friendly. Let's see. My dad says, I don't remember how long your crane is with the trailer on. I know 12 miles per hour pill is insane. That's with the power boost drum. It's 85 feet long. Hang on, everybody. My daughter's hollering at me. Yes?
Dinner's ready.
Okay, I'm on a live stream.
Oh, sorry.
No worries, the Gaming Kid. I keep this family friendly because I've got subscribers that watch with their kids. Little kids inherently are enthralled by big equipment, and so I keep my channel family friendly for that purpose. But if any of you guys want to help me try to make a video go viral, if you guys would all share that crane dancing video, I'd be interested to see how that works out. Let's see. So what's everybody want to talk about? Anybody got any more crane questions that are just eating them up? Got to have an answer for them. Make sure I didn't miss any comments here. Hammer says, ultimately, the responsibility for the safety of the lift goes on to me. You are the competent person in the entire... That's a fact, Hammerhead. Michael Newcomb, daughters come before live stream. She just came down and told me dinner was ready. I'll eat later. J80 said I laid claim to a crane truck that set our chimney when I was 5 years old. I don't know how old you are now, J80, but that sounds like it might be an old crane. Von Heels, are you still planning to make a video of crawling inside the boom sometime? I will. Trying to think when I need to grease the boom next. When it warms up a little bit, I will probably be crawling inside the boom, and I will take the camera with me when I go in there. And yes, it is a greasy mess in there, so I'll probably have a Tyvek suit on, and we'll crawl around inside the boom. J80's 38, so I've got you by a few years, J80. Dalton Feeks, how's the Cummins doing in the cold? The old Cummins starts just fine. I haven't even plugged it in yet this year. I probably should have, but I just hit the remote start and it goes through the air heater deal and fires right up. Jason Helsley said 14 dead due to tornadoes in Alabama and Georgia. That's terrible. Man, I hate to hear that. I hate tragic weather like that. But lay your question on me, Alex. I'll see if I can answer it for you. James Bergeron says, I loved equipment as a kid, still do at 26. Hammerhead must be a large boom if you're getting inside of it. Is that a fat joke, Hammerhead? That I can fit inside the boom, believe it or not. J80 says, I've worked a lot of hours and had problems with health. I look older than you. Jason Helsley said, and still counting. Man, I guess I haven't looked at the news or anything today. Andy B says, I'm 51, made a lot of equipment old. Barry Hansen said the best one video that he's watched is on Odie Horse one of cutting a tree down and a brown bear running out of the inside. That would be scary. Mike Manford, big boy with a big boom. Jason Helsley, I'm not fat, I'm fluffy. Michael Newcomb, how often do you have to replace the cables, wire, rope? If you take care of it and maintain it, that wire rope will last an incredibly long time. It's not like that there's a set, hey, every 2 years you got to do this. There's a minimum measurement for it. And once it gets to that minimum measurement, then it needs to be replaced. Or if it starts getting broken wires in it, it has to be replaced. My dad is absolutely right. Says I'll need to say a prayer for the families affected by the tornadoes. Hammerhead, it'd have to be a large boom for me also. 6'5" and 315. Hammerhead, you wouldn't need a crane. You could probably just pick stuff up and carry it where it needs to go. J80, I sat next to everyone in school. D. McDonald, minimum diameter. I'll have to look up the specs on it. It's a 21.5 millimeter rope when it's new. I'd have to look up the minimum specs on it. I don't remember off the top of my head. As much as I would like to say, hey, I remember absolutely everything there is to do with all of that, when it comes to measuring the rope, I'll have to get the book out. Soldier of Dirt 81, how are you doing, Soldier of Dirt? Down there in Texas where it's raining like crazy too, I guess. Mike Manfred, amen to that. Says also keep first responders and linemen going to help with recovery. J80's 5'7", 275. I'm about 5'8", 230, I think, 225. I can fit inside the boom on the ATF 180. I can't fit inside the boom on the ATF 80-4. Soldier Dirt says doing better now. He's over his respiratory infection. Seems like everybody was sick for a while. D. McDonald says that's the guideline for replacing, the minimum diameter, assuming it stretches so length increases. But he also mentioned a minimum measurement. And not only does it stretch a little bit, but also running through the shivs and stuff, it starts wearing the rope down a little bit. Alex Williamson's Blind Adventure. This excavator has kind of a squarish cab and has 2 bucket cylinders, one on each side as opposed to one. I have no idea on that, Alex. JD says I'm very wide and strong, not at all fat. My dad. I'd like to introduce Hammerhead to our smoked meats. Bet you that boy could pack in the groceries. Sandy asked, do you have to pass the main lifting lines through a guide, or do you just grab some calipers and measure it at random spots? You measure it with calipers. JD, I can still hit 25 push-ups. I win money with that at times. Hey, Gary Johnson, how are you doing? Woofy W, how are you doing, Woofy W? Hammerhead kept waiting for my dad to start his YouTube channel. Hammerhead, that's my fault. They were over here one day. I was trying to get it all set up and was running into trouble, and I kind of backburnered it, and it's been backburnered since. So that's my fault that their channel's not up and going. You guys can all ridicule me for that. Chris DeBow, how are you doing, Chris DeBow? Oh, my mom's on here too. My mom and dad are probably sitting on the couch. My dad's probably on his phone. My mom's probably on her phone. They're sitting 5 feet away from each other watching my live stream, I'm sure. Or they're watching it on TV and commenting on their phone. Hammer said lives a few miles south of Chattanooga, Tennessee. Hammerhead, I am going to be staying in Chattanooga, Tennessee in July on our way to Florida. Gary Johnson, I feel much better. Woofy W said I might have missed it, but how's Thor's hammer coming along? Doing good, just got in from dinner. I'll show you a picture, Woofy W. I showed some in the beginning. Let's oh yeah. My dad sent me a screenshot or sent me a picture. So this is my parents' view right now. They're watching on their TV and commenting on their phones. Let me get to some pictures for Woofy W. I'm a little ways behind on the old hammer because of being sick and all that good stuff, but we're gaining some ground. So that's what the bottom of it looks like currently. So 3 of the 4 sides are all polished and getting there. But that piece that's sitting there, let's see, I got another picture. That's before polishing on one end. But so far, that piece is about 300 pounds. Hammerhead says Chattanooga is a nice place. Yeah, we'll be down there. I'm trying to think of what day. Maybe July 13th or so. 13th or 14th. Jade says, well, it involves lifting heavy stuff and holding static positions for minutes on end. Changing truck and tractor tires don't hurt your strength either. That's a fact. Alex Williamson's Blind Adventures. Some excavators do have 2 boom cylinders on them, one on each side of the boom. My dad says to Hammerhead, for a big enough order, he could meet you in Nashville. Andy Beast, 20 miles from Nashville. Yeah, I'm going to be rolling right through there. Michael Newcomb, man, your dad's really trying to sell some meat. D. McDonald, how's the rope spool up so early? There doesn't appear to be any feed mechanism. Can you get my garden hose to do that? So the way that rope lays on there so neat is once you get that first layer of rope around the drum, the next layers line up. Like, so if you have rope here and here, the next layer will line up right on top of those 2. And so the rope guides itself on there. As long as you keep weight on it, then that rope will lay on there pretty nice and pretty, actually. Dalton Feeks, he's making me hungry. My dad, just a good reason to go to Nashville again. Just go to Nashville if you want to go to Nashville. You don't have to take a carload of smoked stuff with you. Barry Hansen, this will teach you not have the channel up yet. That's a fact. My dad's hijacking my live stream with his smoked meat orders. I probably ought to get that done, but then I got to teach him how to edit. Big sale means free trip. It can be a free trip anyway. All you got to do is go down there and tell them that you were making a trip for your business. Go down there and buy a salt shaker, and then it's a business trip. It's a free trip anyway. Write it off. Hammerhead, spend your kid's inheritance. Barry Hansen, bring it to Dunedin. How do you pronounce that? Dunedin? There you go, Dad. I want you to take Barry Hansen some smoked meat. I will pay for the meat if you pay for the trip to get it there. Michael Newcomb, new title, To the Top Meats. But, Dad, I will buy Barry Hansen 100 pounds of meat if you deliver it to him. But the delivery is on you. Soldier Dirt, not looking forward to this week. Cold temps tonight until Tuesday. That's the way it's going to be here, too. It's, well, you're down there in Texas, though. How cold is cold for you guys? Because up here, it's like -8 with the wind chill. Rogue Excavating, how are you doing, Rogue? Dunedin, Dad, that's in New Zealand. You ain't driving there. You have to drive to the airport. The rest of your trip will be by plane. Andy B, how did I get left out? Oh, Soldier Dirt says for me the lows will be in the 20s each night. If it was 20 at night here, we would be wearing a t-shirt during the day. Larry Ford, if you go 60 I-55, you have to stop at Lambert's, home of the road rolls. We hit Lambert's down by Springfield anytime we're in the area. J80, Texas cold is 55, right? That's a fact. D. McDonald says 3 degrees in Denver, mid 80s in Fort Lauderdale. Yeah, Noonan is New Zealand, not Florida. So -3 in Des Moines right now, John. Let's see. Come on, phone. It's currently 4 degrees here with a wind chill of -16. Tonight's low is going to be -7 with a wind chill of -11. Sandy says thermometer in back porch says that it's 80. Oh, if it went from what it is right now to 80 degrees here, we'd probably all die. WFW, our average high temp last month in the Seattle area was only 36 freaking degrees, third coldest February on record. I don't know about you guys, but I'm ready for spring. I'm so sick and tired of winter. Of course, come July and August, I'm going to be wishing for a little bit of cool down, but we've had a pretty rough winter this year. It's been one of the worst that I can remember having in a while. Scruffy 61 had a high of -4 today. That's not very high. West Coast logging. Alex, how are you doing, Alex? This has got hit really hard with snow, most snow in 50 years in this area. Well, the plus side to that, Alex, is that it should help with the fire dangers, shouldn't it? I mean, of course, if you got a bunch of snowpack, you guys might end up with some landslides out there. Soldier Dirt. I've been ready for spring since October. Oh, Dalton Feeks says it's up there in South Dakota had -50 at times. Whew. No thanks. Oh, my dad's out. He must have got his fill of marketing for the night. Have a good night, Pops. West Coast Log. Alex said, "Yeah, it doubled our snowpack." I mean, that's good for fire danger, but that's probably gonna be bad when all that melts. My mom says, "Don't complain about the heat this summer. I'll remind you of this winter." Von Heels, that'd be a good video watching Mark explain 100 pounds of meat to New Zealand customs. Mike Manfred, you got orders for the next 2 weeks. My dad says, please forward my contact information to Hammerhead. I don't know that I've got Hammerhead's contact information. He would have to email me, or you guys can find them on Facebook with Smoking Hogs, HAWGS. But I think there's 2 of them. I think there's one in Canada, and then there's one in Missouri. So they're the ones in Missouri. But they are indeed on Facebook. Jason Heltzley had a large mudslide on I-24 in Nashville last week due to rain. They're saying it's going to be in the middle of March before it's cleaned up. Scruffy 61 compared to -30, -4 is warm. I guess that's true. It's all relative to what you have to base it off of. That would be pretty funny that Von Heels, though. That would be pretty funny watching my dad show up to New Zealand Customs with 100 pounds of like pulled pork. I guess he could ship it. I don't know what it would cost the next day, that kind of stuff to New Zealand, but it couldn't be cheap. I think it's supposed to start warming up here on Wednesday. Wednesday's 30 something. Woofy W says I'll gladly take 75 degrees and rain over 20 something degrees and close to 2 feet of snow. That's a fact. Mike Manford, more than the meat, I'm sure. Soldier Dirt says just putting it out there, Jimmy. I'll be doing hard hat stickers soon. Let me know when you do them. I will add one to the sticker board back here. I haven't put a sticker up on the old board for a while. I think. What was my last one? The Manatech sticker, maybe. I've got Skidder Kev up there, Elite Earthworks, Tadano, Jason Works a Lot, Logger Wade, West Coast Logging, IUOE Local 150, Local 317. So, yeah, I need some more stickers for the old sticker board. Rails 19 already fighting dandelions in North Carolina. J80 just UPS something across a few states here. Well, said he's on his own with customs. Her partnership only goes so far. GoPro guy, what state you live in? I am in Missouri. William Jacobs, call FedEx. They'll tell you the cost. I would probably fall over if I found out the cost the next day, something like that to New Zealand. Barry Hansen, long as it's cryovac, all good. Alex Williamson, Blind Adventures, got a review of it on my channel. I'm hoping that maybe you can identify it once you see it. I will check it out. Mike Manfred, I do. I need shooters to send me a sticker. I'll throw it up on the board. I'm going to hit shooters up to make me a sign. Jason Heltz, I need a Let's Dig 18 sticker. Chris has to send me one. Messy Max, hello there. Yeah, if Let's Dig sends me one, I'll put one up there. Blue Line Landworks, how are you doing, Blue Line? Messy Max. I don't play Fortnite. My son plays Fortnite. I don't play Fortnite. Fortnite is not on my list of things to do. My mom says, okay, Jimmy, Dad, and I leave you alone. Got to go for now. Love you. Love you guys too, Mom and Dad. Woofy W. Currently 46 degrees here. Feels like 41. 30 miles north. My brother used to live out by Seattle. He was in the Air Force stationed in Tacoma for a while. Hammerhead, somehow your channel has been shared with the gamers. Sounds like it. Anthony Ray sounds I'm doing much better on the cold. That cold was kicking my butt for a while. Still a little bit stuffy, but not too bad. Messy Max should be a son and father bonding time. I do a little bit of gaming with my son. We we play some Assassin's Creed here and there and some Far Cry, but Fortnite's just not one of those things that I'm involved in. Smedco hasn't been cold enough to get that dang turtle on your telescope screen. It has been cold enough that I will get the hydraulic oil bypassing indicator. And at that point, I stop doing what I'm doing and let it warm up some more. Alex Williamson's Blind Adventures video is called Tonka Power Movers Part 1 Excavator. I'll check it out, Alex. Ryan Holt, how about a sticker from a small crane company in North California? Absolutely. I'll put it on the board. JD, they get out Jimmy's old NES. I wish I had my old NES. I still remember the codes for Contra and Mike Tyson's Punch-Out. Sandy said, is there a minimum temp you can't run the crane below? The minimum temperature on the Tadano is minus 13 Fahrenheit. Messy Max, what about Apex? I don't know what Apex is. I'm guessing it's not so much that I've gotten a bunch of been shared with the gamers. I think it's, you know, when people jump on YouTube and they see there's a live stream going, they jump in the live stream. Sometimes people are respectful when they do, and other times we have to block people. Hammer says, good question, Sandy, with the stress on welds, etc. Messy Max, I don't know what Apex Legends is. J80, up, down, left, right, BA, select, start. Select, start is if you have a second player with you, I believe. Let's see. Messy Max, a good way to get people to not watch your videos is ask people to watch your videos. Andy B, you guys make me feel old. J80, the code to go straight to Mike Tyson on Mike Tyson's Punch-Out is 007393593. Sandy, I'd wonder about oil viscosity before welds, honestly, Hammer. Well, the thing with your oil viscosity is you can warm the oil up just by letting the engine run, so that, you know, as it circulates the oil through bypass, it would warm the oil up. But if it's below minus 13, your oil could warm up, but the steel would still be cold. Messy Max, it's just one of those things. If you jump onto a live stream and you ask people to start watching your stuff, they're not going to watch your stuff. It's called spamming. Mike Manford, darn James beat me to the button. Blue Line Landworks, won't be long before you have a crane show on TV. I wish I had a crane show on TV. That would actually be kind of fun. J80, give that again, please. Oh, the code from Mike Tyson's Punch-Out. And if you've got the original Punch-Out that's not Mike Tyson's Punch-Out, it just takes you to the final player. But it's 007 373 5963. That's the code to take you straight to Mike Tyson on Mike Tyson's Punch-Out on NES. And if you have a ROM simulator on your phone, you can play NES games on your smartphones. Ryan Holt, does the Tadano have pump sharing? It does have fittings on it that if the pump failed in the upper, I can connect it to the lower and use the hydraulic system from the carrier to retract the boom and lower it and all that good stuff. Dalton Feeks, Dirty Jobs Micro. I wish I could get Micro to come hang out with me. Andy B, I've missed this live stream. If on Hills be on TV, you're going to have to get a lot more energy and animated to increase the ratings. They're a lot more angry and animated. Yeah, that. If I had to change who I was to go on TV, I wouldn't go on TV. Because at that point, it would be fake. And I don't want to be that person. My philosophy on it is I'm going to do what I do. I'm going to be me, and people will either watch it because they enjoy the content and enjoy listening to me be me, or they're not going to watch it. And either way, I'm still going to wake up tomorrow. I'm one of those, you either love me or you don't, and either way, doesn't much matter. Custom tractor driving, I like that choice. Hello there, custom tractor driving. I don't know that I've seen you on the channel, so welcome to the channel. Hammerhead greasing the boom would be an excellent video to be on dirty jobs with micro. It would be, because it will be filthy inside there. Soldier Dirt says, I'm the same way, Jimmy. I'll be glad to be on a big project again. J80, that's a fact. Better to be hated for how you are than loved for living a lie. And I've only met, as far as on YouTube, met in person, I've only met Andy with Cut and Clean, and that's a friend of Randy with G4. But Randy and I have been friends for years and years. And then also, I've met Logger Wade. I was at Logger Wade's house and whatnot. You guys probably all saw that. But if you asked Randy with G4 if I was the same in my videos and on these live streams as I am in person, he would tell you absolutely. So I don't change anything for the sake of YouTube. Jason Heltzley, that's a fantastic idea. So someone should develop a crane simulator game for the gaming consoles and PC, something like Farm Simulator, but with cranes. If someone did, I would own it. I don't know why. I mean, at that point, I would be enveloped by cranes all hours of my life, but it would still be fun. I don't know anybody in the gaming design business, though, to pass that up the food chain, but that would make a pretty cool video game. And actually, they do have crane simulators for, like, our training center for our union has a crane simulator, but those are very expensive. Blue Line Landworks went live after getting wisdom teeth removed and lost 9 subs. It happens. And, I've done live streams and lost some subs. And if I lose a sub because of a live stream, they didn't want to be here anyway. I mean, it is what it is. Don't let it hang you up, Blue Line. And that's the thing. You got your wisdom teeth removed. You basically invited people into your life at one of your most vulnerable times. And if they didn't like it, they didn't like it. Whatever. Soldier Dirt 81, exactly. Why be fake for the fame? Oh, wait, there are a few out there. There are some. Mike Manford, they can start with an 8-ton. Actually, we own a 4-ton crane. We've got a little bitty tiny Broderson 4-ton. And there's a video, you can see it in one of the videos. I was replacing the flow divider combiner valve in the front axle. And that's the one that I was using it to work on itself. Hammerhead, can you feel movements of the crane and the stress on the boom, etc. in the seat? You absolutely can. You can feel the wind. You can feel everything the machine's doing. And actually that Tadano ATF 180, it is radio remote capable. So we could install everything on it to make it where you can operate it by remote control from outside the crane. But I would think that would make it inherently more dangerous because you can't feel what's going on with it. So feeling the machine is a big part of how you operate the machine, and knowing, what's going on. Ryan Hold asked, what are the models behind me? The one closest to the wall over there is a Tadano 160G-5, which is pretty similar to the one that I operate. And then the one next to it, right there is a Tadano GR1000. So it's a 100-ton RT, rough terrain crane. Rainbows will clown. There are crane simulator games for phones. I've seen those, and I actually had one downloaded for a while, and it was pretty hard to play. Sandy said we helped put together a full ship's bridge simulator for C School. That'd be pretty neat. Blue Line, does the boom have a lot of flex to it at full length? It does. If you load that thing to max capacity at full boom length and boom it down to max radius, that boom is like, well, actually, I've got a really cool picture, and I uploaded it to Instagram a while back. Let me find this picture, and it'll show you how much the old boom bends. Where's it at? Gotta be around here somewhere. Might be faster to find it on Instagram. Nope, here it is. Okay, now keep in mind I've got the jib on this set to a 20-degree offset, but it still looks pretty nasty. And that was at a 183-foot radius with about 4,000 pounds. Soldier dirt feeling machine is absolutely critical. It does make a big difference. James Bergeron says just posted 2 pics of his model cranes on Instagram. Mike Manford, someplace little crane on my phone. Hammerhead, there is a video that I posted showing deflection. One of my first videos I made, I actually put a line on the screen so you could see the deflection, like where it started and stopped. Mike Manford, oh holy boom deflection, Batman. It had a little boom deflection in it. Von Heel's going to say the cell tower picture makes the crane look like a bow. Only thing missing was a giant arrow. It does have some deflection in it, too. Tyler Kinsey said, hey, Jimmy, I was running a 99 Manitowoc boom truck, and I was having problems with the boom extending. Do you know if boom trucks use the same pinning system like you talk about in your videos? Typically, boom trucks are all live booms, so they have the telescope cylinder and extend cables. And the extend cables work kind of like the chains on the mast of a forklift. So as the cylinder pushes one section out, the cables push the other sections out at the same time. So typically boom trucks have a different boom extending procedure. Until you get into like Manitex makes a 70-ton boom truck, and I believe it has a pinning boom in it, but I'm not 100% certain. Blue Lines, well, that would make me nervous. You just got to trust the machine. Sandy, wow, it looks like catching a 10-pound bass on a 5-pound rig. It feels like it too, because it has a lot of bounce to it. If you have the jib on it and you're laying it out that far, and say you're booming down, and then you stop real fast, then it will sit there and it'll bow down, and then it'll just sit there and do this. And it bounces a little bit less each time. Smedco said joystick went bad. One of our cranes with the radio remote option suggested using it to finish the job. The operator had to sit in the seat even using the remote. Because I could absolutely see that, because it was too unsettling. I wouldn't want to be outside the crane operating it. And that picture that I showed you guys, it's on Instagram. And actually, I think I put it on my community tab. So if you go on here and want to see that picture up close and personal, you can. I think it's on my community tab. You guys can see it there. D. McDonald's, their direction that has an increased load, i.e., boom over the cab or boom over the back. Typically, cranes will pick more over the rear just because the carrier engine and stuff can act as counterweight. But my load charts on the 180 are 360-degree charts. I don't have an over the rear chart. So it'll pick whatever it says in the chart, a full 360 around the carrier. But as far as like our Manitex boom truck, it's got a chart for over the rear. So final drive guy, what do you think about the outriggers on 50-ton rotator truck? Pretty scary looking to me. I get questions a lot as far as cranes compared to rotators and all of that. I mean, they're two very different machines designed for two very different purposes. The fact that they're using rotators as cranes, that kind of, I don't know. I think that's a gray area that's going to end up getting them in trouble at some point. But I don't know. We'll see how that goes. But the way the outriggers are configured, it's a little unconventional, but I would say it's working. Soldier of Dirt, well, time to call a night, everyone. Have a great evening. Hey, have a good evening, Soldier of Dirt. Thanks for stopping in. Stay warm down there in Texas with your 20-degree cold. Hopefully you sense the sarcasm in there. Dalton Feeks, that would be a lot of trust. Yeah. Von Heels, blue line after riding that dolly like you showed on your 125-foot pole video. I would not imagine anything could make you nervous. That's a fact. Hard Hat Divers Corp. Can I adjust the swing torque? I can adjust the speed, like the swing speed. I can adjust the speed of all the functions: cable up, cable down, boom up, boom down. Yeah. Wow, Sandy was on somebody. I completely missed what was said, but I missed it. Sandy, they've got one of those fold them up towable tower crane jobs. Yeah, those self-erecting tower cranes are actually pretty neat machines, but the belt pack controls only. I don't think I would want to run one of those. Z71, hey Jimmy, do you know if there are any rules or licenses to run a rotator record truck? Do they need a crane operator's license? As far as I know, they don't. But if they keep using them as cranes, I would imagine that's going to happen. OSHA is going to step in at some point and be like, hey, you guys need more rigging training. You're going to have to start abiding by certain regulations if you're picking with them. I'm sure that's how that's going to happen. Sandy, I think it's got only 5,000 or 6,000 pound capacity on one of those portable tower, self-erecting tower cranes is actually pretty good. At J80, it won't change until someone gets hurt. Probably so. Ryan Holt asks what certs I have. I just have hydro. I have the crane certs that allow me to run anything hydraulic. Mike Manfred, setting them straight. Says Messy Max, you can stay if you want to ask questions about cranes. Sandy, sadly, I don't think OSHA's good. I agree. That's probably what's going to happen. But I would think that the more these rotators are being used as cranes, they're going to attract attention to themselves. And technically, if a person wanted to break it down, technically they're using the machine for a purpose it wasn't designed for. A rotator is actually designed to be used for recovery. So I don't know how that's going to happen. I would think that they would be opening themselves up to some liability by using a rotator and for a purpose that it wasn't designed to be used for. Let's see. Blue line. So what do you mean rotators? Like the rotator record trucks? And J80, that's when money comes out, and that's when the fit hits the shan. Rambo's little clown, that's a true story. Most OSHA regulations are written in blood. Ryan Holt asked, which is harder to run, bigger crane or smaller crane? It just depends. The big crane has a lot more involved with it as far as setting up, a lot more responsibility. When things go wrong, it goes really wrong. Um, with smaller cranes, they tend to be a little jerkier, but there also tends to be less liability involved. Michael Newcomb says, "Great live stream, sir. Thanks, got to go." Hey, thanks for stopping in, Michael Newcomb, and being part of all of this. Andy B, they also have load charts. Do they have load charts for the purpose of recovery, or do they have load charts for the purpose of like just going out and picking up random things? I don't know. Dalton Feeks, all I know is they can do more of a side pull than a crane. They absolutely are. They can side pull like crazy. Side loading a crane is a no-no. Woofy W. Ron Pratt would be the person to ask about taters. What I need to do, I need to call Ron Pratt. I've got Ron Pratt's phone number. We private message each other from time to time. I may see if I can get him on a live stream with me sometime. And that would be the perfect opportunity to talk about all this stuff. I mean, you know, there's a lot of talk in the industry that crane people are upset about rotators going out and doing work such as that because it's taken work away from crane guys. And, you know, I get it. But those rotator guys have to pay for their machines as well. So, you know, I don't blame them for doing what they're doing. But they also need to do it safely. And Ron Pratt and Plaza Towing are the two tow channels that I watch. Those guys are safe. I mean, we talked about it in my last live stream I did. Those guys are safe. I would not have any issues working next to them. Rainbows will Clown dual live stream would be cool. Custom tractor driving, yeah, that'd be great. G4, that would be awesome. I will send Ron a message and see if we can do a live stream with Ron. Mike Manford says they can side load the heck out of them, and Ron takes every precaution. That is no doubt. I mean, Ron's got his stuff together for sure. Hard Hat Divers Corp asks, how come some operators call it having a big hydro cert instead of just saying swing cab? Was there ever a small hydro cert or always just TLL? They're actually in the NCCCO certification. They're small and large hydro. I don't remember exactly where the cutoff is with that, but I've got the OECP, which is through our union, and it's just hydraulic. I mean, it covers all of it. James Bergeron says, I watch Ron Pratt just as much as To the Top Crane. Blue Line, I had a TV show asked to use some of my drone footage. That's pretty cool, Blue Line. What was your response to that? Barry Hansen do it would be great. Hammerhead, I would guess the load charts are for recovery operation only because of liability. The manufacturer would assume if they posted load charts for rigging and something went wrong. That's what I'm guessing too. Chris DeBow says, one of my friends' fire department got hit by a tornado today. Prayers to them, Chris. I hope they're all doing okay. Ryan Holt, small cuts off of 55 ton, I think. Rails 19, would love to see Ron or Trent on your live stream. And I've chatted some with Trent, but not a lot, just through email. I'll hit one of them up and see if we can get a live stream with Trent or Ron as a guest. I mean, I'd rather be a guest on Ron's channel because it would help my channel a lot, but I would also enjoy having Ron on my channel. Blue Line, I told them they could do it for $100 towards my next drone and a souvenir from the show. Alex Williamson's Blind Adventure said be a stream I'd definitely watch. Final Drive Guy, 35-ton crane while lifted 50-ton rotator all day long. Mike Venture, I've seen millionaires do some sick lifts with a rotator. On one of Trent's videos, someone commented that they were going to take a bunch of work from the cranes until I posted in there that I could put our big crane in the same area as that rotator and pick that rotator up along with the load that he was picking. So, I mean, I know they say that those rotators are going to take work from cranes, but they're very limited because they're boom length. And really, they don't take up any less room than our 200-ton Tadano. I could literally pull into the same spot that Ron or Trent puts their rotator and snatch their rotator and probably set it on the roof of their shop. Hammerhead Miller Industries are in Chattanooga, Tennessee also, Jimmy. Maybe I ought to swing into old Miller Industries in Chattanooga and check out their operation. Let them know I'm a crane operator and see what they think of that. Sandy, the work rotators are going to take isn't from big cranes, but boom trucks, I think. Yeah, and I mean, maybe some small boom trucks, but I don't see a rotator putting air conditioning units on a building or anything. They're going to pull in and load a container or unload a container or something like that. If Ron was closer, I'd ask him if I could pick his rotator up. I mean, I could put the rigging together and we could swing his rotator, and I'd have to look at my charts, but I'm guessing I could probably get Ron's rotator about 80 feet in the air. Ryan Holt, I do have jib inserts. Main boom length is 197 feet, and maximum jib length is 123. And by the time you factor in the carrier height, I've got a total tip height of 330 feet. If you watch my second cell phone tower video, you can see it with it all ran out. James Bergeron, that would be advertising for a tow shop, a rotator on the roof of their shop. And Sandy, that'd be really awesome to watch. Barry Simmons, I agree, says rotators don't come close to having the reach it ain't even a small boom truck does. Von Heel says Ron has said many times rotator 73,000, so there's your starting point. Well, to give you guys an idea, if Ron's rotator weighs 73,000, 3 of my counterweight slabs is 79,000. My total counterweight package is 110,000. Mike Manfred, Blue Wrenches in the house tonight. Yeah, you guys have been staying busy. The old moderators on my channel have been busy this evening. That's for sure. Ryan says, I watched that one. Do you do cell towers often? I try to avoid cell towers as much as possible. I don't like them. But we do them occasionally. But I'm not a fan. Therein lies the reason why I have moderators on my channel. Thanks, guys. You guys are doing a good job tonight. I just realized it's 8:03. 2 hours went by pretty quickly. J80, do cell towers pay well? I get paid the same regardless, so it doesn't do me any favors to have that much boom out. But I would say to our company, probably so. Sandy said we're setting up a microwave point-to-point link for a customer next month. Got to build a 340-foot tower for this job. I'm glad it's not in my area because I don't want to put it up. And honestly, I couldn't top out a 340-foot tower. Mike Manford or 903 and Jason works a lot of time. Yeah, the tallest tower I can set's about 315, unless we side pick the top section. Z71, you guys slow down this time of year. We typically do. Dalton Feeks, if I ever did a wind tower or turbine. Not with our crane, but I have worked on 3 wind farms. So I've been involved in the assembly of, let's see, roughly 300 wind turbines. Ryan Hull, I've asked you this before, but any advice on for a future operator? Ryan, I don't know how old you are, but my best advice is to take it slow and learn as much as possible. Get in with some knowledgeable people and just really pay attention and don't try to advance too fast. Von Heels Ron's most recent video where he talked about using the D-rings on the back of the boom to anchor it for larger picks made me nervous. And I think the D-rings are back there not necessarily to anchor it down so they can pick more. I think it's so they can anchor off to the side to keep their winches from dragging them sideways. Larry Ford, I have seen that video Ron has of him working with a crane set in a storm box with power lines overhead. Mike Manford, Ron is always, I think Ron's rotator runs on electricity because, like Mike Manford said, that there's always a power line nearby. So I think his rotator is probably a hybrid. He's got to plug it in. But Larry, I did watch that video. It's a neat video. I would have done things differently with the crane on the other side, but I wasn't in the seat. Sandy said they're clearing the access road for it now. The ground around the center and the link is so soft they're having to build a foundation to put the crane on. Oh, that's comforting. Nothing like cranes on soft ground. Sometimes that doesn't end well. Mike Manford Electric over hydro setup. Well, everyone, we are approaching 10 after 8. JD, a lot of young people don't want to start at the bottom, work their way up. Start at the bottom, get with the base of your tower. Yeah, you definitely have to start at the bottom and work your way up with cranes. You don't just go jump in one. But we're approaching 10 after 8. My dinner's been ready for a little while. Sandy, Land Rover's the only vehicle to make it out there. I have not watched 1140 Rotator. So anyway, with that being said, I'm going to shut this thing down, go choke down a little food like I need it. But the more I weigh, the safer the crane is because it technically has more counterweight in it. That's my theory anyway. I'm going to roll with it. But I'll get a video up this week. It'll be a short one, probably about the middle of the week. That'll be the one where we're inside with both of our big cranes inside of a building. Pretty technical pick, but nothing crazy. So with that being said, we will do another live stream 2 weeks from today, 6 p.m. Central. I'm going to try to get 1 to 2 videos a week up, see how that goes. I'm going to try to get a video on Thor's hammer this week as well. If all you guys wouldn't mind sharing that crane dance video, I'd be curious to see how that thing would go. I think it could go viral if we had enough people sharing it. So if you wouldn't mind going back, finding that crane dance video and click and share it, whatever social media and stuff you guys have would be awesome. So with that being said, thank you all for making this channel what it is. It wouldn't be near what it is without all of you guys. So thanks for the support, and hopefully all the bad luck's behind us. We can make that work out. Rainbow's a Clown, that is the original video is back up. So the circus music and everything's on it. That video is on there twice, once with the blackened edges around it with no sound. It's got music, but not circus music. But the original one with the circus music is back up so it can be shared again. So comments are disabled on it, but other than that, it's the same video. With that being said, hope everybody has a safe and productive week. Be saying some prayers for people down south that are getting hit with the nasty weather. They could use it. Hope everybody has a good night. To the Top Crane is out.